Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. We are going to be looking at focusing our awareness on turning inwards today with a bit of a chilled out class. So grab all the props. There's going to be lots of options for you to really ground down into a yin style practice. If you haven't got actual bolsters, for example, one of these, then you can substitute that for with a pillow or a couple of cushions. Sofa cushions work really well for that. You might also want a blanket as well, so any throw just to get cozy towards the end of your practice, and if you like to use it during your practice as well. I've also got a couple of blocks or bricks handy just in case I want to prop myself up in any other way as well. So if you want to go and gather a couple of props that you feel would be a bit more supportive for you, then hit pause, go ahead and grab them, and I'll meet you back on the mat. Once you have all your props, we're going to find a comfortable seat to begin with. And I'm just going to create a little bit of a ledge with my blanket. You don't have to, you can find a comfortable seated position wherever that suits you, but I'm going to elevate my hips just a little bit, about an inch thick, just to allow a bit of a support underneath my spine and the pelvis. Just helps to bring that pelvis forward a little bit and allow me to sit up nice and straight so that I'm not arching into my upper back. Once you've found a comfortable position, I'm just going to invite you to close down the eyes and allow the breath to settle first of all. Allowing that natural rhythm to find its own way as you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And just whilst I allow my breath to start to soften into that natural rhythm, take a moment here to allow yourself to ground into your practice, into your mats. Allow yourself to press pause on your day, your week. And just starting to turn the awareness to your inhale. Noticing the rise of the chest, the rib cage expanding. Sense of life force entering the body, nourishing the body. Noticing all the subtle movements on that inhale. And then turning your awareness onto the exhale, noticing the fall of the chest, The rib cage knitting back together. The abdomen drawing towards the spine. As the exhale softly leaves the body, brushing past the back of the throat and out through the nose. Allowing your whole awareness to be taken up by the exhale. And when you're ready on the next exhale, I want you to assign counting just for the exhale, starting from 10. Moving on to 9. All the way down to 1. And allowing the count to be determined by the breath and not the breath to be determined by the count. So allowing that exhale to guide you down all the way to number 1. With each number softening the body a little bit more. Allowing you to guide yourself down into this grounding practice. And if you find yourself at 1, simply coming back round, starting again at 10. Allowing the count to guide you to turning inwards. And then when you find yourself at 1, once again, gently letting go of the count. When you feel ready, allowing the breath to just be. And you're welcome to keep the eyes closed and just follow my lead through my instruction. Or if you feel like you want to open the eyes, then gently blinking them open. On the next inhale, we're going to gently take the arms up overhead, reaching nice and tall through the spine, interlace the fingers together, and then send the palms and turn them up towards the ceiling. We're going to find a nice long stretch through the spine, the sides of the body. And then just maybe finding a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. Working into the side body, freeing up that space into the side of the rib cage. And that breath, nice and soft. Coming back to center, take a nice deep breath. And then on the exhale, letting the arms come down. I'm going to move through our side body. So I'm going to take my right palm onto the mat. The left arm goes up and over, leaning over to the right. Finding this space all the way down the left side of the body. And maybe the gaze goes down towards the mat. Maybe it goes up towards the ceiling, wherever feels most comfortable for you. And then when you're ready on the next inhale, come all the way back up. Leaning over to the opposite side, left palm comes down, right arm goes up and over. Finding that comfortable gaze. Lengthening down the right side of the body. I'm going to flow through this with our breath. So inhale as you come up, exhale as you lean over to the right. Inhale to center, exhale to the left. Inhale to center, exhale to the right. Inhale through center, exhale to the left, last time. Inhale back to center. We're going to take our hands, interlace them behind us. Send the palms together, draw the arms down behind you towards the mat, and send the heart up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Maybe the palms come off the back. And just finding this space into the heart center. Front of the body. Noticing any sensation around this area, any tightness. And then exhale as you release arms. Give your shoulders a little roll. From here, we're going to take ourselves round into a tabletop position. I'm just going to get rid of any props out of the way that I don't need. I'm simply just going to take my wrists underneath my shoulders, knees underneath my hips. I'm going to tuck my toes just for a bit more stability. If your knees are a little bit, the floor is unkind to your knees, shall we say, you can also place your blanket underneath them just to allow for a bit of padding. And we're just going to work through our cat-cow just to find some space through the spine. So when you're ready on an inhale, dropping the belly down towards the mat, chest comes forwards. Exhale as you round into the upper back, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Inhale as you drop the belly, send the heart forwards. Exhale as you round into the upper back. Keep going with the rhythm of your own breath. And of course, if there's any other movement that feels like it suits you or serves you a little bit more than this movement, then feel free to take that instead. Just exploring into the space through the spine. Moving one vertebrae at a time. Maybe you find this fluid movement from the base all the way to the top. And taking a couple more breaths here, just like this. And then when you're ready, finding a stillness in your tabletop, I'm going to tuck the toes behind me if they're not already. And we'll press through the palms, lift the knees, and send the hips up nice and high for a downward facing dog. We're not going to stay here too long. We're just offering a sense of movement, a shift of perspective. So you can have a nice deep bend in the knees. You can pedal the legs out. Finding any other movement that feels good. Maybe you're quite happy just holding it still, and that's absolutely fine. Or maybe you want to find a little bit of a spinal roll. But just knowing that we're not doing anything too strenuous. This isn't about exerting ourselves today. Just finding a difference in perspective, difference in how the body can feel in a different position. And then when you're ready from here, we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So I'm going to take my right knee, draw it up towards the top of the mat, and allow it to come down onto the mat. I'm going to release the toes behind me. I'm just going to check that that left leg is nicely in line with my hip. And I'm going to start to sink down. Not too much so that I'm finding too much of a stretch into the outer hip on the right side, but a gentle tug into the fascia. So we're not going off full range of motion here. We want to think about finding about 60%. And I want you to feel supported in this. So if you want to find a brick, you can place that underneath the right bum cheek. Maybe you place another one to really lift you up, wherever it sort of allows you to feel as though you're really supported underneath that hip. And then from here, if you want to grab anything in front, you can bring a bolster, a pillow, or a couple more blocks. And then from here, we can just start to allow ourselves to come down, maybe onto our forearms. And I just want you to think about allowing the body to settle here, softening into your position, rather than trying to force a further position or extend that pose that what we might quite often be used to. So just allowing ourselves to come to a restful place here. Maybe you close down the eyes. Maybe you allow the head to drop, wherever that may be for you. I'm going to stay here for a couple of minutes. So once you've found a position that is comfortable, allowing yourself to soften here, finding that gentle tug on that outer right hip. Allowing yourself to turn inwards. Into your state of mind and body. Noticing how you're feeling this evening, this morning, whatever time of day it is that you're practicing. Noticing if this position is serving you. Quite often we can come into these positions a little too harshly. And just keep allowing the body to settle into the position you've chosen. See if you can let go of anything that isn't needed to be held here. Allowing that softness of the breath to keep guiding you into stillness, guiding you towards tuning inwards to yourself, allowing you that self exploration, that space to explore. Got a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, gently starting to support yourself as you bring the body back up. Releasing any bricks, bolsters, cushions that you have supporting you. And then from here, I want you to roll the right hip down onto the mat. I'm going to remove my blanket. I want you to swing that back leg all the way around towards the front, so that the sole of the foot is flat on the mat, on the outside of your right knee. And just moving out that heel if it's been caught underneath the bum cheek there. We're sitting up nice and tall. We're looking to sit into our half load of the fishes. If this is not comfortable, then you can take this bottom leg out straight, right in front of you, and hold it here as well. So it's entirely up to you, whatever feels most comfortable and serves you best this moment in time. From here, we're going to sit up nice and tall. I'm going to take my left fingertips behind me. My right arm goes up towards the ceiling, reaching up through the spine. And then I'm just going to wrap that right arm around the left knee and just starting to find a twist towards the back of the room, back of your mat. And again, I'm not going to go to my full range of extension or rotation here. I'm just going to find a gentle twist, one that doesn't require too much effort. And you can close down the eyes here if that suits. See if you can let go of the hips. Allow that left hip to drop down and release. I'm really going to stay here for a short while, so just a couple breaths longer. And when you're ready, just starting to bring yourself back round to the front. I'm going to take myself back the way I came. So my left leg is going to sweep all the way behind me, back to a brief pigeon. Plant the palms down, tuck the toes, and just gently push yourself back to a downward facing dog or a child's pose if you're feeling more inclined to go that way. And then when you're ready, sliding that left knee up towards the top of your mat, lowering the hips down. So your shin is coming across the body. The left heel is somewhere in front of the right hip. And again, finding anything to support you, really support you underneath the hips. So I'm just going to walk that back leg in a little bit. I'm going to place a brick underneath my thigh and left hip, just to feel that supported action from the brick there. And then again, if you want any cushions in front, or bolsters or bricks, anything that can meet the mat up towards your level, take that in front of you. And then when you're ready, just starting to soften yourself down into a comfortable 60%. So we're using these props to allow us to find that 60% without going any deeper. And that's what's really going to find that nourishing yin tonic That's so good for our body. And see if you can soften into the left side. Closing down the eyes. Allow yourself to once again be guided to tune inwards. See if you can let go of the neck. Maybe you support it using hands, cushions. Seeing if you can let go of anything else that doesn't need to be used in this position. We're going to stay here for a couple more minutes. So really allowing yourself this time to really let go. Finding more space. Just a few more breaths. If you're feeling ready to come out, gently starting to think about supporting your body as you lift all the way back up. Removing any bricks or supportive props. And just as we did before, rolling that left hip this time onto the mats and swinging your right leg all the way around to the front. Taking the sole of the foot to the outside of the left knee. And just wriggle that left heel out from underneath you at the opposite side. And then we're just going to take our right fingertips behind us just to offer a bit of support. Take a nice deep breath in, reach through towards the ceiling with the left arm. And then as you twist around to your right, I'm going to hug my right knee and then take the gaze as far around as feels comfortable. Again, finding that twist at the midline, but not my full range of motion. Just finding a comfortable 60% twist. Again, you're welcome to keep the gaze soft or close down the eyes. I'm just going to stay here for a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready to come out, gently twisting yourself back round to the front of your mat. I'm going to send that right leg all the way behind me for a brief pigeon once again. Plant the palms back down into the mat. And then I'm just going to slide myself back into a wide-legged child's pose. So from here, I'm going to take my toes to touch. My knees are going to go out wide. And if you want to take a couple of breaks, let's stay here for a couple of breaths, a couple of minutes. So you can take a bolster or a pillow. If you've got quite a flat pillow, then you can take a couple of breaks just to elevate that up. If you've got a bolster and you prefer to stay elevated, then this is also a nice option. So I'm going to bring the bolster as close as I can towards me, and then I'm just gently going to lay over the top of my bolster. Allow my arms to come either side. Allow the shoulders to soften. And for your whole body to soften into this position. Don't worry about taking the gaze one way. I'll be cueing you to change that in a moment. So just going ahead and finding a comfortable, supported child's pose. Closing down the eyes. Allowing that breath to continue into its softness. Allowing yourself to feel the support of the props beneath you. Gently take the gaze the opposite way. If you've taken that option. Keep allowing that breath to soften you down. We've got a few more breaths here. And then gently, when you're ready, lifting yourself all the way back up. I'm just going to take my bolster off to the side for a moment. Release any bricks. I'm going to come forward into that tabletop position, draw the knees back underneath the hips. And then from here, I'm just going to kick off my right foot to the side of the mat, lengthen through the left leg, drop the heel down. I'm just going to draw that left arm up towards the ceiling, slowly taking it up towards as far as I can, stacking the shoulders on top of one another. I'm not looking for a majorly strength position here, just an opportunity to find expansiveness and space. Really reaching as far wide as we can, right through the fingertips, down through the toes. Taking a nice deep breath here. And side all the way. And then when you're ready, bringing that left arm back down. I'm going to slide that knee just forward a little bit so that I can sit my bum down onto the mat. You should end up with yourself in a V-shaped position. So that left leg is out nice and straight, the right knee is bent in towards you, with the heel coming in towards the groin area. And then from here, we're just going to find an opportunity to prop ourselves up. So I'm going to bring my bolster back in. And if you've got a cushion, you need to use a couple of bricks just to start to elevate that up. Maybe another one, just to find a little bit of support. And that can be on the inside of the leg, or it can be on the outside of the leg. I'm going to go nice and high, just so I'm not going too much into this position. Remember, we're looking for 60% when we're in our yin practice. And then from here, I'm going to take my left arm, I'm going to slide it down my bolster, just as far as feels comfortable. Put a bend in the elbow and just allow my head to drop onto, feel supported by my hand. You're welcome to stay here. If you want to take it a little bit further, taking that right arm open over, reaching upwards, and then just allow it to drape over the head. And you might find that once you get into this, just to find a little bit of movement, maybe that bolster or cushion comes further over the leg. Maybe it comes up into the armpit. Again, just softening here. Tuning down straight away into that inwards direction. Closing down the eyes. I'm going to be here for a couple minutes, so just allowing yourself to settle, relaxing into the feet. Maybe think about relaxing that right knee down towards the mat, allowing that right hip to let go of anything it thinks it needs to hold on to right now. Noticing that gentle tug, the right side of the body, just creeping its way into the top of the hip. Allowing that breath to gently guide you down even further. Couple more breaths here. And when you're feeling ready, gently lifting yourself back up, the arm coming back over, and the body coming back up. I'm just going to gently move some props out of the way. And you can simply roll yourself forwards back into that tabletop position. I'm going to spin myself round, however, so that I'm not got my back to you. I'm coming straight back to that tabletop. I'm going to kick off the left foot this time to the side, lengthen through the right leg, drop the heel down. And then start to draw that right arm up towards the ceiling again, finding this expansiveness, this space. Maybe you lean back a little bit to find this opening in the heart center. Taking a nice deep breath in as you really breathe and extend, expanding into the rib cage. And then on the exhale, coming all the way back down. Adjust that knee so that you can sit the bum down. Taking the right leg out to the side this time. And then just readjusting yourself, finding your props, preparing yourself for this side. Just going to take mine over my leg a little bit there, just so that I can really come into a nice alignment. But again, if that's not for you and you want to come more inwards, forward folding rather than to the side, then that's an option as well. Or even taking the bolster to the outside of the leg. Again, if you haven't got a bolster, just some cushions will do, and a couple of bricks underneath. Wherever you are, I'm going to take my right arm down onto my bolster, put a bend in the elbow. Just start to rest my hand on top, rest my head, on top of my hand. I'm just seeing here, first of all, finding that 60%, that nice tugging sensation just into the lower back area to the top of the hip. And then once again, if you want to take the option, taking the left arm open over and allowing it to just drape casually over that head. When you found a position that you can soften into, just simply allowing the breath to guide you back into that stillness, tuning in. Allowing whatever is coming up for you to just be without any judgment. And if nothing in particular floats to the surface, then that's absolutely fine. Thinking about softening the feet, the left hip, allowing that left arm to feel heavy and supported at the same time. Staying here and settling in. Keep allowing that breath to soften down. Couple more breaths here. And then when you're feeling ready, we're taking that left arm back over, lifting the body back to center. Gently take any props away from you. Just finding any position that feels good. Maybe it's drawing the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a little bit of a hug. Maybe dropping the chin or forehead onto the knees. Allowing the spine to round. Taking a couple breaths here. Noticing how the body feels. Feel free to stay in this position. I'll go through a couple of options for your relaxation. Feel free to take any other variation that you wish, any other position that feels most comfortable and what your body is seeking today. It's really important to listen to that. I'm going to show you an option that I particularly enjoy, and that is with a couple of bricks. So I'm going to take my highest height and place it somewhere towards the top of my mat. Think sort of where your neck would end up being if you were laying flat. And then I'm going to take a medium height and I'm going to place it about hand's width apart, underneath it, below it, further down. And then from there, I'm going to take my bolster. And again, you can use a really, like a pillow would be great. A bed pillow would be fantastic for this. I'm just going to lay that on top of it. I have to play around a little bit and just make sure that that's nice and stable and secure. And if it's not quite working, draw them closer together. You want to be able to make sure that when you're patting it down, it's not going to go anywhere. And then from here, I'm gently going to take the base of my spine to the bottom of my bolster and just gently lean back onto my bolster there. Feel free to have another cushion underneath the head just to keep you elevated. There's a couple of options with your legs, so you can keep them bent just like I am now and maybe drop the knees in towards the center line. Be a nice counteraction from that hip openings that we've just done. Or maybe you prefer the hip openings and would like to take a Baddha Konasana, so allowing the soles of the feet to come together, knees dropping out to the side. And if you've got any spare props, then feel free to prop underneath the legs there just to offer that extra support. And of course, you can take the legs out straight as well. Wherever you are, maybe you grab a blanket, some fluffy socks, extra jumper. I'm just going to lay that over me. I tuck my toes in, my legs, so it's nice and comfortable. And just allow myself to settle here. Once you've found a comfortable position, whether that's this supported position here or any other variation that you wish to take, maybe it's just simply lying down in Shavasana if that's comfortable for you, or even taking the legs up the wall, which can be nice and restorative. Wherever you are, allow yourself to settle. And simply tuning back inwards once you're there. Noticing the exhale once again. simply finding that count on the exhale, starting at 10, just as we did at the start of our practice. Again, just allowing the breath to guide the count rather than the count driving the breath. Allow it to be slow, purposeful. With every exhale, knowing that it's softening you down just a little further. Allowing each exhale to soften into the feet. Soften into the legs. Soften into the hips. Softening up the spine. Through the shoulders. And down the arms. Softening into the neck. Into the back of the head. Allowing the count to simply fade away, along with any noises around you. Allowing yourself to probably turn inwards. Knowing that this is time for you to restore and replenish your energy. Finding the importance of replenishing that energy. Allowing the rest to restore you. Free to stay here as long as you can give. Allowing my voice to fade away along with the other sounds. If you're ready to find a little bit of movement once again, gently wiggling fingers, toes, allow the breath to become deeper. Every inhale and every exhale. Drawing in this life force. If you've got your legs out straight or in Baddha Konasana, gently drawing the knees upwards. So you can feel a little bit more support. When you're ready, gently taking the hands underneath. Gently lift yourself all the way back up. Bringing yourself to a seated position. Taking a final breath here. The eyes closed for a moment. As you transfer from the internal self to the external sources around you. Allowing the sounds to come back alive. When you're ready, taking the palms together, rub them to generate some heat. And then placing them over the face, blinking the eyes open in the darkness of the hands, spreading the fingers wide and taking the hands down to heart center. Allow some time to be thankful for the practice that you have given yourself in this time. And I hope you join me on the mat again soon. Namaste.